I'm a mixture of elated and really disappointed right now, viewers, because I won't lie, I started recorded a really good episode for the start of Season 3, looked down, and apparently it stopped recording, and then I looked at the actual video footage and it literally recorded pretty much like nearly everything until I got to the game. So, not happy, but also elated. I'll try and recreate what happened. I'm annoyed, but also really happy. I'll explain in a minute. Welcome to Season 3, and welcome to the channel where nothing ever goes wrong. Ever. Professional, polished, pillock, I think are the words. Welcome to Season 3, everyone. I'm going to try and ignore Abby because she's giving me jip in the background. I'm going to have to run through everything again. Been a really busy window. I'm going to whiz through this as quickly as I can. We're probably not going to have a game. I'll show you what happened in the first game. I'll try and recreate what my reaction was like to everything. Okay? Sounds good. Brilliant. Alright, cool. Great. Love retracing my steps. Nothing like doing everything twice. Okay, so we're going to whiz through this. A lot of people have gone, a lot of people have come in. A lot of people that have gone are people that came in January, and they're just not good enough, alright? So I'll quickly name the names and the values I sold them for. Grant Hanley came in, helped me get up, which is in promotion, which is obviously what I bought him for. Solomon for £2.5 million, bought him for 2.6, only made a loss of 100k, not too bad. Ben Brereton, on the other hand, brought him in, thought he could be the next big thing, didn't really have a very good season, not really Premier League quality, sold him to Middlesbrough, bought him for 5.75, sold him for 3.4. Not my finest work, it is safe to say. Utali Janelt, a player that barely ever featured for me, he is gone for £2.5 million. Might have been a bit of a mistake letting him go, but at the same time, I don't really think he's ready. And I sold him to Dusseldorf, 24 years old. I've got better options, and you'll see why soon. This one I'm a little more unsure on because I thought John Lundstrom would be a really good player for me at a Premier League level because he'd been there and done it. He didn't even cut it for me at Championship level. Granted, he only played 9 games, but played at 6.56. Wasn't really that interested in him, so bought him for 3.2, sold him for 5 million. Bit of profit, always good, makes up slightly for the Brereton thing. This is the big one though. Alan Campbell went after I bought him in on free, sold him for £7.5 million in a player that was definitely never really going to be a Premier League quality player. If he is, only ever a decent at best. And I need better than that, so I've sold him on as well. Could potentially be better. He's gone though to West Brom, so not too concerned by that one. But the big sale is that of Jan Zambarek, who's a player we never even saw. Again, not really bothered. 21 years old, could definitely get better. But ultimately, again, a midfielder in a place where I'm kind of really stacked for talent right now. Wasn't going to get a look in. Didn't really need him. Sold him. Best thing about it, I sold him for £9.5 million or £9.25 million. Definitely made a bit of a profit on him. Very, very happy. And I used it wisely, which I will now show you. I'll get the basics out of the way. Brandon Williams is back, obviously playing at left back or right back. Very good. Brought him back on loan from Manchester United. No, I'm going to be able to afford him, so I'm hoping I can just kind of keep him here on loan indefinitely for the time being. And that's the same with 31 goal man from last season, Alameda, who also won Championship Player of the Year, only ahead of Manuel Lanzini. Obviously very, very good. Got him in on loan from Norwich. Could potentially be anything he wants to be. He's a player I am looking to potentially maybe sign permanently, depending on what happens with Norwich. If obviously I can get him in permanently from there, then absolutely brilliant, because he's just top quality. He really is. So now on to the actual signings, and I think that we might actually be in double figures. So let's start off with Damari Gray, a player who I bought in who's kind of relatively seasoned in the Premier League, had a bit of Bundesliga experience, has never really kind of caught fire and actually kind of achieved the potential people expected him to, but I still think he can do a job at this level. He's got decent acceleration, could be a very good kind of impact sub, a good squad rotation player. He's valued at 5.75 million. I got him for 2.8. 2 million rather. That's the main reason why I got him. Wolfsburg bought him for 2.7. I bought him for £2 million. I think he could be potentially very, very good for me, especially when it comes to the kind of increase in the cup games. With the fact we've got a World Cup this year, it's going to be even harder. kind of going forward, because there's going to be a lot of kind of more cramped games in there. So just a decent sign for £2 million. I think it's just a deal worth having, especially when he's only on 14k. I think it'll be decent. My one free signing of the window was that Pietro Pellegrini, and this one's a bit shrewd. Hasn't got a work permit, so I've sent him on loan to Antwerp, where he can obviously go and get one. We all know he can become potentially very, very good on FM, so it's a kind of win-win situation. I bought him on a free, so if he does get a work permit, he turns out to be really good, then great, I've got myself a really good new striker. If he turns out to be a bit of a flop, doesn't really matter, because he's worth £10 million and I bought him on a free, so I can sell him on. No matter what happens, I'm going to make a profit on him, especially because I'm only paying him £15,000 a week. I think it's just a really good financial no-brainer, and we could also have potentially a really good forward on our hands if he achieves the potential we all think he has. But sometimes he doesn't do that on FM, so we'll see. Bit of a mercurial one. With the removal of Grant Hanley, there is a bit of a real issue in terms of people at the back. And with that in mind, I brought in Joe Worrell. I bought him for £4.8 million. I think he could be potentially very good. He's from Nottingham Forest, 6'4", very big. Not the quickest in the world, but he doesn't really need to be if he reads the game well, which he seemingly does. The biggest thing is that he fills a good leadership gap. He comes in as 16 leadership. Grant Hanley was 17. He's obviously not as experienced as Hanley, but ultimately he could be going forward, and I think long term he could become a very decent Premier League player for me. And he's got all the attributes that you think you'd need to be very good. He's going to head a lot clear. He's very brave. Got good jumping reach. Got good strength. Think he's going to be a very kind of good physical defender to have, even if he's not the best ball player in the world. Doesn't really matter too much. One player that has got Premier League experience who I brought in is Vladimir Coufal. In real life, I love Vlad Coufal. I think he's absolutely fantastic. In the game, he's not quite as good, but that doesn't really matter, because I just needed someone that had Premier League experience that was going to come in, bomb up and down that right-hand wing, improve on what I had at right back with Finn Stevens, who, let's not be funny, he did have a brilliant year last year, probably not quite ready for Premier League football, alright? But Vlad Coufal, definitely. He also brings a bit of experience, 29 years old, obviously he's an international. 44k a week is a bit much, but I bought him for £10 million, so I don't really think it's too bad of a deal. I probably paid more than I would have wanted to for him, but ultimately, to get a Premier League quality player in, one of the few genuine Premier League quality players, I think it's worth taking the gamble. Probably argue, this guy has an argument for bargain of the window, and that is Ryan Ike Nori. A player everyone knows on the FM can become fantastically good. He does look amazing. He's going up in all his attributes apart from determination right now, and I'm hoping that will turn around because we've got quite a determined squad here. He's excellent. The best thing about him is that I bought him for 2.8 million from Angers. 2.8 million. He's already got an assist to his name, which I'll get onto in a minute. Brilliant. Like double figures everywhere you can see. Mentally at his age, he's fantastic. Physically, he's excellent. Technically as well, very, very good for a 21-year-old. Could be anything he wants to be. And I'm hoping that with him, Rico Henry and Brandon Williams, because though obviously they're here as well, our left-back position is basically stacked. We've probably arguably got like the best selections of left-backs in the league in terms of strength and depth. Really, really happy. Really happy. I don't have to spend £50 million on a fullback, just like City do, to get someone really quality. Not a dig at you, Pep. Not a dig. Right, well, we got 4 to go. Actually, it might be 5 now, because I just made a signing that wasn't going to be in this episode, but because obviously the thing balls up, now it is. Let's start off with one of the really good players, Kundo Torres. Alright, bought him in from Penarol. Never heard of him before. Can't believe I haven't. 22 years old, Uruguayan. Can play anywhere along the front line as a striker, as a shadow striker on the left. He is, wow. Physically, pretty good. Maybe a little bit weak for the Premier League, but he'll bulk up in time. Mentally, very good. Very, very good indeed. Technically, 16 finishing, 14 dribbling, 15 technique. All very, very good. Natural fitness of 16 is exciting as well. And he seems to be very, very consistent, which I like. You look at here, he's never played at anything below a 7.3, which is amazing. Granted, obviously, the league's not quite as good as our one is, but having said that, he's just excellent. Really, really good player. Really good player. Just, love it. And without being able to bring Eddie Nketiah back, I did require a lot more players in the attacking positions, and that brings me to Brian Brobby. Now, Mr. Brobby, as I'm going to start calling him, physically impeccable, quick, strong, not really that tall, jumping reach is good, balance is good, mentally is pretty decent, technically has got very good attributes. For a 20-year-old, who literally has the world at his feet. Described as a wonder kid, literally could be that. He scored 7 goals in 24 games for Celtic, which isn't brilliant at that level. I expect him to be very good for me going forward. Very, very good for me. Attacking wise now, we are absolutely stacked. The problem's going to be at the back, which we'll get on to. This is the guy I signed after the last episode I recorded, but didn't record, obviously. And that is Per Schurz. Obviously a player I've had before on the channel, a player that we all know very well, a player that is obviously very consistent, can become very good. He's not brilliant right now, at 6'3", but he is pretty tanked, he's pretty big, got good heading, decent marking. Not brilliant at Premier League level, yet, is the operative word. I bought him in for a modest 3.5 million. I needed more centre-backs because I've only kind of got 2 real recognised ones. He fits the bill, and I think he's going to be brilliant. In the long term, he's got a lot of stuff to like about him. He's got good determination, very physical player. Maybe need to get the aggression up a bit, but he's a good ball-playing centre-back as well, which goes well with Cameron Carter-Vickers. So maybe I need one more centre-back to make sure I'm really happy at the back and make sure we've got the depth that we need. The final 2 are where it's at, alright, and both have been on the channel before. Thiago Almada is the one I'm going to start off with. World class is the only thing I can say. Obviously had him in the Arsenal save. We all know how great he can be. There's 16, 17s everywhere you look. Mainly 16 first touch, 16 penalty taking, 16 vision, 16 flair, 16 off the ball, 16 composure, 17 agility. He's quite quick. He's not very strong, but he doesn't need to be because he just needs to be there, making stuff happen in that final third. Getting goals, threading passes, breaking down defences, picking the ball up, winning fouls, taking set pieces. Yes. I bought him for 7.5 million. He's already rated at 19. Could not be any better. And the final one is Adam Plozzak, who obviously we had earlier on in the matching Mourinho save. I bought him for Sporting Lisbon, where he became a little bit of a phenomenon, it's safe to say. And I wanted to buy him and carry him with me through that save, but he was too expensive anywhere I went. And now I've got the chance to buy him for Brentford for 10 million. Took it. Could be brilliant. Described as a winger, should really be as a wonder kid, I think, because I think he's got so much potential. He's already got 3 goals and 20 appearances for the Czech Republic, which is pretty good considering they're not a team that's particularly that good. Did well at under 21 level. Regular starter. Technically isn't brilliant. Physically is excellent. We all know what he's very good at, which is headers at the back post, arriving late, scoring goals, and just being a general beast all round. So I think we've had a successful window, but let me know what you guys think down in the comment section, because obviously I'd always be willing to hear or happy to hear what you guys think. Ultimately, I'm pretty happy with what we did. In terms of key players, actually, 2 of our players do make it onto there in the form of Thiago Almada and obviously in the form of Kundo Torres. So they're 2 very highly rated players, and I do expect there to probably by the end of the season be a lot of interest in them, but I'm obviously not interested in selling my best players. You wouldn't know we had a good window from the season preview. We were predicted to finish bottom. Newcastle were the ones that came up. They beat Bournemouth 4-0 in the playoffs, so they're actually bottom. Sheffield United just ahead of us. Norwich, Palace, Watford, West Ham and Brighton, Leeds, Villa. Pretty much everyone down from Villa, I think, is at risk of maybe going down. I actually think we're going to be okay. We're going to be brilliant going forward, but terrible at the back. That seems to be the way that it's going to work. I could be wrong, but that's my gut feeling. And in all fairness, that's how the first game went. You might be wondering why I've gone back to main cameras, because I don't really want you to see the scoreline, because I'm going to try and get through the match and show you exactly what happened and show you the reactions I had at the time, if possible. But it's hard, because I think it's going to tell us what the score is right at the start. It is, which is annoying. But basically, we got a penalty in the first 2 minutes, which Adam Ida stepped up and took it. I didn't actually think it was a penalty. Salsi made a pretty decent tackle. But don't worry, we were made to pay for it, because Freddie Woodman had a very mixed game. Yeah, he did that, and Nathan Teller equalised very quickly. You can imagine I was delighted with that. I actually did say, to be fair, I think it was only fair. Southampton then really began putting the pressure on us towards the end of the first half as Che Adams... Woodman should really save it. It's a poor effort to save it. Che Adams headed it in just before the break. 76 minutes. This is the worst one. Woodman, all the time in the world, he's actually looking at him, rolls it straight to Nathan Teller, who then basically walks into the goal. I'm going to put it out there, right? That's on 76 minutes, okay? So we've got 15 minutes to go. We're 2 goals down, away from home, on our Premier League debut. I make a couple of changes. I bring on Thiago Almada. He goes into the middle. Kundo Torres moves out to the left. We're still playing our 4-2-3-1. Brian Brobby also comes on. And watch what happens. So Ike Nori goes down the left here. This is 81st minute, by the way. Torres, it's a great turn finish. It's a great striker's instinct. I am tempted to possibly play him out there if Ida doesn't have a good time. Amada whips a ball in here. Brian Brobby is literally fresh off the bench with a brilliant header that goes off the underside of the bar. That's the 89th minute. 90th minute. We break away. Adam Ida. Can he pick someone out? No real options. Amada. What a goal that is. I went spare. If I was going to show you, it was probably something like this. As you know, I'm a very calm individual, so I was very happy with what happened there. A 4-3 win on our Premier League debut. Great stuff. And the best thing about it really is we got a nice run of fixtures, but ones that really might decide early doors how we're getting on in the Premier League, because we've got a lot of home games and some tough away ones as well, because that's what happens, mate. You play home games and you play away games. Well done, you idiot. I said we're going to come back for Leeds and Aston Villa, because I feel like that's a really good time, because they are two teams kind of near the upper tier that we're going to be playing against. But games against Watford, West Ham, Crystal Palace, Brighton, these are all the games that I really kind of like want to really focus attention on this year. So we probably won't see as much of the big teams until we're kind of like a safely established Premier League team. Otherwise, we'll just watch the same teams every single year, and there's no point in doing that. I would much rather mix up so we get to see all the Premier League teams. So next time that we come back, you will see us take on Leeds away and Aston Villa at the Brentford Community Stadium. I'm off to see if I can kind of keep up this good run of form. It'll be interesting to see how well we've done, because these are all games that potentially are winnable, maybe with the exception of the West Ham one, but these are games that are winnable. I do not obviously expect us to win every single one of them, but I do expect us to hopefully be in a decent position for when we come back and meet each other, because we've got a horrible run after the Villa game. You've got Tottenham, Everton, United, Chelsea. 4 games I just expect us to get no points out of whatsoever. It doesn't get much easier after that, to be fair. You got Norwich and Wolves, which is fine, but then Leicester and Arsenal. Not easy. Thanks so much for watching this episode of my Brentford save. I hope you have enjoyed it. Sorry, obviously it wasn't live. I'm sorry that my computer and my recording equipment isn't very good. Very irritated by it. The natural reactions were amazing. And hopefully, I'm sure they'll be playing more goals this season, because we can't defend for toffee. I'm going to try and get in another centre-back. We'll see what we can do. I don't have a lot of money to play with. But let me know what you think of my transfer window. Let me know, obviously, where you think we're going to finish the season. And just thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't already, go out and check out the other new series on the channel, which is me and my girlfriend Abby taking care of Newcastle and seeing if we can bring some success and some joy to the Geordies. She's got off to a decent start, so let's see how we get on. I'm worried that she's better than me at the game already, but she couldn't turn around a 3-1 defeat. Oh, at St Mary's with a tactical tweak. Just saying. Tactical masterclass. Until I see you then, everyone, or whatever episode it is, take care of yourselves and stay cool. Up the bees. Come on, you boys.